place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, or were they drug dealers? The question is, do we care? Do we care that these 15, 14, 13, 9-year-old kids were killed by bullets, not by cancer, not by the swine flu, but by bullets? Do we care? And tomorrow, we will be doing a march around the Joint Park area, where we'll be demanding the federal government to intervene on our behalf. And there has to be some type of government responsibility for the problem of gun violence. This is not just a community problem. It's not a community problem where 200 guns can be sold out of somebody's trunk when they bought them legally at a gun show without any background checks. It's not a community problem. So if we're really going to try to stop the flow of death in our community, we have to start with the government. Like what Dr. Carr said, there are bootstraps. We can pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, but if a week before somebody goes to college, they get shot dead, there's no booster strap because they're lying in the car. So do we care? So tomorrow at 7 p.m. we'll be at the flagpole. We'll be marching out. And if anybody has any names that they'd like to add, markers in here, we'll be scrolling all of these out tomorrow. So on the road.
I had no question. You rolled from that side. No, you rolled from that side. You wasn't even going right on the side. Wow. Thank you, man. Whew. That's right. Oh, yeah. That's you can do that. It's okay. We have to, again, and you all know how I feel about that. Thank you, Melody. Please, by all means, say it. Good question.
All right. Well, for the beginning, she asked, how do we plan on federal government to intervene? Well, because we're starting grassroots, I'm going to just tell you about our opponent, the NRA. The NRA is the single most powerful lobbying organization in the world. The reason why the assault weapon ban expired in 2004 is because the NRA hired and bought out politicians to allow it to expire. But we have the power of justice and peace on our side. So the first three things that we're trying to do: first, we're trying to reinstate the assault weapon ban permanently. Second, we're trying to get the White House to call a national summit on the issue of gun violence. Because as you know, President Barack Obama, since he got in office, has been completely silent about the issue of gun violence. In fact, because I don't mind telling the truth wherever I go, when he was running for office, he promised to reinstate the assault weapon ban, but on April 19, 2009, he took that off his website and said he would no longer pursue that ban, even though it makes sense. So my thing is, does Barack Obama really care? And we have to ask him that question just as much as we can ask George Bush. And that's real. That's right. So what is the assault weapon ban? Guns like AR-15s, AK-47s, semi-automatic rifles, guns that have more than, I think, about 11 rounds. These are guns that these frail 14 and 15-year-old children are trying to shoot, but they end up using string bullets that go through windows and kill 10-year-olds that are waiting for the bus inside their house. So it doesn't take care of like 25, semi-automatic 25. There's a lot of loopholes, but my thing is what we have to do is we have to, the elephant is taken down one hand at a time. So if we can get 3, 4, 500 hands to take down this elephant, that's what we got to do. If we can save one child, we save a million.
Good. That's good. That's important. I know that, and I want to say that while y'all having this conversation, that there's a lot of energy in our space, and we're all at Howard now. It's a difficult time. History is not preordained. We make history moment by moment, but systems have a way of expanding and contracting based on their context that we've been talking about. Part of this black radical tradition that Robinson is writing about, he's not saying he's right. And part of our review of not only this book, but the previous readings, part of our reviews have to do with what our considered opinions of these things are. In other words, we have to apply our critical intelligence, because what we're clear is that regardless of why you think these things have happened, they are happening. And it won't get better just because it got better one day.
Not enough space.
No, ain't enough space. You have to wrap that down. And here, up a little bit. Let's be move it down a little bit. You got it? Put it there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let me stand that up. In fact, again, these circumstances call for a different type of approach. If, how many people still don't have access to Blackboard? Okay, a handful now, not a lot. Okay, very good, a lot, but enough. Okay, what I want, in fact, what we would do is look at the first review essay. I'm going to make a change in the first review essay. Our first review essay, I want us, instead of focusing on the pieces that we've had distributed so far, which means the essay I wrote basically. And I'll put this in an email. I want you to give a critical treatment review of Robin Kelly's foreword, the preface to the 2000 edition of Robinson, and the introduction. In other words, that's what I want us to do. Now, that can be 3 to 5 pages. I want you to explain it. And what I'm going to do is I'll write the prompt questions. And I'll post it on Blackboard. It'll be due a week from today. Yes, sir. Everything up through the introduction, right up to chapter 1. I think that would be the best use of our time. That means right up to the introduction, which ends on page 5, Roman numeral page 5. And there's some people who are not here today, but that prompt question, what I want you to do is, in fact, I could probably write it right now. In 3 to 5 pages, I want you to state I'll probably refine this language. State the central theses of Black Marxism. Meaning what? Robin Kelly's got a description of the work, and then Robinson has his own description of the work. I want you to state the central theses of Black Marxism and analyze the veracity. Very simple. In other words, I want you to say what this book is about, and then I want you to tell me how well you think these theses, how well you think they're constructed, how valid you think they are, how much power you think they have as an explanatory force. I don't expect any of us to be able to test the veracity of these theses beyond our knowledge base. What I do expect, however, is that I want you to consider the statements that are made in the front matter of this book, and I want you to tell me whether or not you think that the theses of this book, in terms of what he says he's trying to do, and how he explains what he's trying to do, and how Kelly explains what Robinson is trying to do, whether or not you think those have the type of intellectual force that will be necessary to explain the condition of African people during this period. Yes. A week from today. No email. Hard copy. I know we're in a crisis. But this is a crisis that I choose not to recognize. I'm like Marx and no. Is that going to be a problem for you? Now, if I can get this digital Dropbox thing figured out, then yeah, you can put it in there. It's fairly simple. Some of y'all have used it, right? Now the new one, say it. Yeah, hard copies is fine. I want to avoid all problems.